we were currently across the globe, very challenging times, multiple countries in war, countries which were large suppliers of food, of oil. I mean, and things seem to be getting worse. Any thoughts on entrepreneurship during challenging periods?
See, for me, an entrepreneur is a problem solver. More the problem or bigger the problem, bigger the opportunity. More problem, more opportunities for him to solve. So I always maintain this, that for a good entrepreneur, a good set of entrepreneurs, these do offer opportunities. And even if you take from the noble perspective, the time of war or time of any crisis is the time when good minds, good people should come forward to solve those problems, right? So we all are quite familiar with how after any crisis, or especially war, crisis like war, countries need to be rebuilt. And there is a whole kind of economy around rebuilding the country, or rebuilding the company, rebuilding the city, rebuilding the place which has gone through crisis, right? So that's, I think, there are a lot of opportunities get created. For example, I'll tell you, after 9/11 in US, I happen to be there in the startup circle. A lot of companies around disaster recovery management, they came into being, startups, right? Because people realized that we were not, even though, let's say New York Stock Exchange, bunch of companies there had set up their multiple data centers, but still their disaster recovery was not A+, right? There were some gaps in that. So they realized those gaps, and then that gave rise to new products from existing companies or new startups coming up with new products, right? And then, of course, rebuild economy, as I mentioned, right? So find, number one, I would say, is new ideas which tell you the gaps between various things that you had set up before. Another example, Israel. Now, they were supposed to have the strongest security in their country, and obviously their country got broken. The security got broken. So there are gaps there. I'm sure, though I'm not familiar right now, but I'm sure there are a bunch of startups who are studying all the holes which were exploited by the terrorists when they entered their country, and they're coming up with new ways to solve that problem, right? So, that is number one. Same thing, 9/11. Number two, rebuilding that, right? And social impact work. As I said, noble, even if, let's say, it may sound very, capitalist to see, or there are countries in trouble, there are problems, and problems create opportunities. But not in a negative way, even for a noble way, you look at how much social impact work one can do through their startup. Startup, again, as I said, to me is nothing but a way of solving a problem that they see outside, right? So many people are not able to get aid or get food, get medicine, right? How do you make sure that delivery happens? So I think you realize that the social impact work that needs to be done, because a new problem gets presented to you in the time of crisis. Again, when you look at what is happening in Gaza, what is happening in Lebanon, or even Israel itself, right? And how do you solve that problem, or Ukraine, right? So I think there are any entrepreneur who is not obviously impacted by what is happening in those crisis zones. If you're not able to get food, how are you going to think about that problem? But people who are around, they're not impacted, not having direct impact of that situation, are the most well suited to help solving that problem through various means, right? And I've always felt from my own experience that crisis is the best time to start a company, provided you're not directly impacted by it, and because you're being outside, you can think more objectively and solve that problem. And that is a time when very few startups are getting started. Any resilient, any agile entrepreneur would be able to take stock of that situation and be able to come up with various ways to solve the problems they see around.